They can just wait for the spike to go down.
He might actually get it as well. Okay, one goes in and gets
Okay,
a dip
they
away.
know where he
Does
is.
get marked though. Prowler, not a problem just yet. Another Valkyrie!
No way!
Oh,
No way!
no! The man can do no wrong! One of the greats to stand on this stage so far!
So yes, today we will be reviewing one of the best maps of Valorant that I think has ever been played. Definitely up there for sure. DRX versus FPX on Ascent that happened yesterday. And we're just going to take a look at the overtime, because the overtime in and of itself was just full of insane moments. Most notably, perhaps, that one that you saw at the start of the video. And, well, we're going to start with that round, actually, which was the first round of overtime, round 25. FPX are on the attack this time, and DRX are on the defensive side. And so let's just kick this thing off. And as you can see, FPX want to go towards A, it seems, at first. They actually come back from the barrier expecting a KO knife. That KO knife doesn't come straight away. And in fact, RB here is going to throw it a little bit later on, and he's going to be rewarded for that because it is going to catch 3 people because he does that. So they get obviously the idea that that is going to be the case, and it's going to probably be an A hit. And so the jet buzz there goes and rotates over. You can see we've got Artis here in mid as well. So FPX, you know, they start to send in some of their own utility. They send their own KO knife in. They send in this Omen Flash towards Gen. As you can see, they send in this Sage Slow here. And they start to come in. They put the Sage Wall just across the back here where the Sage is on it. You can see just to try and peek above this smoke and try and get anyone in towards Heaven just there. There isn't anyone in Heaven, so that doesn't make any difference. But in they start to come, right? They start to come in into the site. And, you know, this is perhaps one area that I think, you know, with this kind of Sage no duelist comp, I think that, you know, just kind of forcing it through A can be a little bit difficult, particularly as, you know, without Angel, you know, kind of maybe putting a smoke towards Jan and TPing it into himself, you know, you don't really have any way of getting deeper in onto the site. And you see, I think that that comes back to bite them in this round a bit, because it means that DRX can essentially just, you know, sort of look towards the choke point and kind of, you know, kill them as they start to come out of the smoke. And Buzz here comes through the smoke on towards the door as well and manages to get that kill. But the thing is as well, speaking of comps, is DRX are playing a no Sentinel comp. So they don't have a chamber, they don't have a killjoy, anything like that. It's triple initiator and a jet. So that means that obviously they don't have any of that Sentinel utility, which means that Artis goes for a walk here down mid. And this is something that I think they began to exploit a bit more towards the end of their attacking half. They did have to make a bit of a comeback here, FPX, and this way I think is something that they kind of figured out as time went on, of how to, you know, kind of exploit the fact that DRX don't have a Sentinel, is you can get into positions like this, right, as all the thing is going on towards the A site and all the action is happening there. Artis has managed to sneak the entire way through mid and actually managed to get a free kill on Zest here, as you can see. So we end up in this 2v3, and now obviously it's a pretty weird situation for, you know, kind of both teams, to be honest, as DRX have to now worry obviously about Artis maybe coming back towards Heaven or coming through here. Artis could come back towards the door, right? He could hold for stacks on the other side as well. He could just be, you know, holding in one of these positions maybe, right? Waiting for stacks to come across. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here for Artis, and he does actually break the glass at some point as well, just to, you know, really create a question mark for these two players. So DRX's reaction is somewhat, you know, probably the best one they could do, as they see Sugetsu there. They come back towards the back of the site towards Hell, as you can see, because obviously in Hell, if Artis does come from Heaven, right, they're still fine, they're still protected from that, as Stacks, you know, kind of slowly makes his way back across. What we're going to eventually see is Sugetsu, you know, tries to take a fight. They are still in a 2v3, so, you know, he still tries to want to kind of even up the numbers and see where exactly these players are, but he does die there, and we end up in this 1v3. And now, obviously, DRX still don't fully know exactly where Artis is until he shoots those bullets right there, and they're going to let him plant the spike, and this is absolutely fine, right? Him planting the spike just kind of gives you a bit of extra info of where he is, and even he gets revealed by the Fade Horn. And at this point, you know, I thought this was round over. You know, they know exactly where he is. You know, there's 3 of them. They're all here, right? It's just over. And I'm not going to say anything other than that. To be honest, because the rest of it, I could, you know, minutely pick on DRX, like, oh, Stacks has a C's out whilst Buzz is peeking, right? But who cares? Because look at what Artis just did. It is absurd, and genuinely is one of the best clutches I think Valorant has ever seen. An insane moment in that game, as you could tell by my reaction. Now let's skip ahead a few rounds here and come to round number 28. So DRX have won, they've survived, and then they've won the next round as well. So now they're on match point, and they are on the attacking side this time. So let's see how this one goes. And they're going to start out with a nice little bait. We start out with an early fade haunt towards there. Prowler comes out from Shao to try and push up Artist here in B main. Stacks crucially destroys it from here, right? And so, you know, you can hear the bullets. You think, oh, it's been destroyed there. So, you know, Artist is thinking, okay, Stacks is here, but really this is all just a bait because Buzz is up here. So as Artist is going to come around this corner, he's not going to be looking in the right direction there, and that is exactly what happens. The plan works perfectly here for DRX, expecting the Artist might do this with the op, and they get the first kill. Really, really good from them. Now, what happens in the rest of the round? DRX now wait for some kind of aggression. FPX, when they found themselves in these 4v5s during kind of the main part of the game, you know, were doing a lot of kind of, you know, reaction like mid pushes or something like that, right? So DRX, you can see, just like jump peeking different angles, right? Just checking to basically see if they're going to do the same. In this instance, actually, FPX, sorry, don't do that. And you've got Sugetsu on this wall here, but you can see there isn't too much aggression that they're really coming out with. They just kind of hold their positions. We get a Prowler coming out towards B main that sees no one, so the decision is made from DRX to come towards this B site. They send a drone towards mid. Angel actually picked up the op as well, and so, you know, DRX note that off the drone, and they start to make this B main play, right? Send a Prowler in there, and here comes their execute, right? In with the dart, the smokes come out, flash comes in. Got a really nice seize from Shao, and Angel is about to actually miss that shot on Buzz right there, but this is the crucial thing. This is what wins them the round, and this, you know, kind of kept happening for FPX, where a different person would just decide, well, I'll win this round, don't worry, guys, because Shao, this is a fade haunt that he's just thrown all the way up there, all the way up into the sky, right? And he's just going to watch it and then choose it to land just there on that ceiling. And, well, guess what's going to happen? Two of them get revealed, and Shao gets two massive kills to take this from a 5v4 that, you know, it's big danger for FPX to all of a sudden being pretty winnable. And we get an Omen flash in there as well from Angel from the back side. Shao comes out of the smoke, does manage to get one, and we end up in this situation here where Buzz is going to miss that shot on Zipan, but at this point it's already a bit late as Angel finishes it off as well on Stacks there, and FPX managed to win the round by the insanely beautiful fade haunt coming out from Shao. But now let's skip ahead a bit to round number 34, and it's 17-16 to FPX, and they are on the defensive side to win the game. And it starts out pretty normally, right? KO knife in here, Fade Prowler out there. They look for some early answers. They look to see if they're going for a fast attack, but actually DRX playing it a bit slow, but they will go fairly fast in this round as they send in their Sovadar. You know, the knife comes in here, Prowler comes in there as well, and they're going to go for a B split. And DRX, if you watch this over time, they seemed a bit allergic to the A site, to be honest. They seemingly kept going towards B, and that will stay the same here. As we see, you got the smoke there, and they're going to drone up towards the deep mid and towards pizza and whatnot. Angel actually destroys that drone, but in they start to come. Send in this really nice KO flash there. As you see, bounces off that wall and comes in kind of perfectly here. Put a jet smoke down there as well, and they clear this area. And now Angel, you know, tries to defend as it looks like they are going for this B split. The crucial thing, though, is we're about to get a fade haunt just in the window here of B main, and that is going to see Angel's position here, and so obviously he's in a pretty bad spot, knowing where he is. Obviously he's kind of open to some angles. Buzz actually dashes in past him. He tries to take the next fight, which is kind of the correct thing to do, because he knows at this point he's going to die. You know, it's just if he can get one kill. And unfortunately for Angel, he can't in this instance. But Shao, being Shao again, he sends that Fade Horn up to the top of the ceiling. It reveals two, and he manages to get one kill on RB there as well. We end up in this weird situation where this happened a lot. As I mentioned, DRX were coming to this B site quite often. And, well, this is one of the skills that I think is, you know, was on show definitely in this, which is picking a time to just come through this smoke. Now, FPX were finding a lot of good timings coming through this smoke, but this time Sugetsu actually does die to Buzz, but Artist is there to trade it out from behind the smoke. Don't know if this was just like a spam through the smoke off the map or something, but Artist does manage to trade the kill. So now everything kind of gets into a weird situation. We're in a 3v3, but DRX kind of just wait, right? They just kind of start holding the smoke. You can see that the Sova and the Fade here are just holding the smoke, because Mako, if you look at him here, he feels like, okay, I've got this timing, you know, I'm in a good spot. But that smoke starts to fade just at kind of the wrong time for when a flash comes in. Artist actually gets team flash there, but maybe they caught just a glimpse of Zest going in. As they do that, Zipan throws his KO nade, but Mako kind of actually whiffs a bit there, an uncharacteristic whiff, and Zest actually dies to the KO nade that was in that corner. And so now we end up in this spot where Mako puts up this smoke, and Stax actually, as FPX start to clear towards the site, Stax has gone, you know, to the other side of the map. They put in a KO knife here towards B main. Obviously, the trap goes off, and so, you know, they know it's towards A. And now we end up in this weird situation, because you look at Mako's position here, he's obviously just hugging this wall, and you're thinking, like, well, maybe he could win the round, but in the end, he is just going to pick a timing to go and swing, and I think he was probably thinking, like, oh, you know, they're going to check this, of course, right? Like, they've had time to think about it. They know, you know, they're going to check every corner because they know that I've been around here and would have had the time to get into this corner. So instead, he just picks a timing and tries to take the fight. He does manage to get one. And then Stax is left in an interesting position where, for a moment, I thought he was going to try and just wrap behind them. You know, as he hears, I think probably both of them coming up towards the stairs there. But in the end, he decides not to. The window gets shot, a Fade Haunt comes out, and he actually is able to avoid it. Now, Zipan is going to send in a flash, his one flash just towards coming out of heaven there, as you know, a lot of people will. And they see that Stax isn't there. He's obviously able to avoid it in his position here. And he's going to catch out Xiao. Now, Xiao, something that Xiao does like to do quite a lot is jump down here or jump on top of the gen. Had he gone on top of the gen, they probably would have won this round. But this time he comes down there, and they end up split up here, FPX. And we end up in this position here where Stax, in the 1v1, both very low HP, he manages to hit the shot, and DRX live to fight another day. Now let's come to the very next round, which again is an incredible ending to a round here. Round number 35, so 17-17, FPX on the attack in this instance, and they're actually going to go for a bit of a fake. They send the KO knife down here towards B, but you can see that the spike is on its way towards A, and they're going to send Sogetsu up here towards kind of, you know, the mid B split, and he's going to try and fake it with this Sage Wall. So he's going to put the wall up, send in a slow right, and make it look like, oh, here we come. The thing is, and it does work, because actually you can see that Buzz starts to come towards the B site. The Prowler doesn't actually see anyone though, but as you can see, FPX are actually going for an A split instead. And so Getsu is going to quickly join the rest of his team as he just sprints away. The smoke comes in, and even though RB does put down a nade and you know, sends in a pretty good flash, as we just get a ton of utility. Fade sees, Face Haunt, you know, the Omen flash comes in as well, but Angel almost dies there as he's flashed up, but then in comes the full entry, right? And FPX, the timing of this is really, really good. They even got artists pushed up here. This was a really good execute by them overall. The utility was very good, and then look at the timing of this, where everyone is kind of cascading onto the site at the same time, and they're gonna make, you know, light work of this pretty much as they manage to get in onto the site. Artist actually does die to Buzz, but Xiao trades it out, and they manage to get the kill on RB as well. And we're in this 4v2, and at this point, obviously, you think, oh, really great round by FPX. What could go wrong? Well, what could go wrong is Stax is perhaps here a bit quicker than FPX assume, and Xiao was initially holding for heaven, but he then goes to plant the spike, and no one else makes up for it. Now, crucially, and I'm not sure exactly how much they heard of this, but Zest is going to run. You might have just seen him there. He actually runs across. And I don't know if, you know, Zipan, you know, maybe heard those footsteps. It's like, oh, there's one door, for sure, right? And everyone just starts looking at him. But you'll see that pretty much all of the focus goes towards the Sova. And I think another thing is here, Zipan might not have even known where he died from, to be honest. And, you know, didn't have time. Because you're going to see that no one reacts to that kill, essentially. You know, Angel is still looking towards the door. He's put up a one-way, actually, on the door. The KO knife that Zipan just threw before he died as well has also revealed the Sova. So it's just like a perfect cascade of just everyone keeps looking at the Sova, and, you know, Stax is able to take advantage of that and find three free kills, as Xiao couldn't quite get his gun out in time as well. And then Zest managed to actually win the gunfight on Sugetsu, and they win a 2v4 absolutely incredibly, and you know, again, just an insane moment in this game. And now let's come to the final round, round number 36, where DRX are going to win off the back of that 2v4, and they're going to go for their tried and true and tested, you know, just classic B hit, as we get a trade of Prowlers early on. A drone's going to come down towards mid, but as you can see, DRX just going for, again, another B hit, but this time it goes a little bit better for them, and there is one crucial difference as they send the second Prowler in there as well. They're going to flash as artists just tried to destroy that, and in they start to go, right, and it's going to be quick. In comes a flash, in comes the Fade Haunt. You saw the dart towards the back of the site as well. Smokes go up, and the difference really for me with this B hit that they did compared to the others was that everyone was able to get out of the choke point, right? What was happening before was Buzz was able to dash, but then there'd be a seize here or there'd be a KO nade here, right? And these other players just couldn't get past it. And so Buzz would end up on his own for a bit, maybe he'd die, and we'd end up in a pretty bad spot. And then, as those players would come in, Xiao would put a Fate Haunt down and they'd all die coming out of the choke point or whatever. But that didn't happen this time, right? They were able to actually get out. And even though Xiao does throw down a Fate Haunt on top of the boathouse here, it doesn't quite find the value that he wants this time. They aren't as revealed by it this time, DRX. And so he has to throw a seize. Instead of throwing it, in the choke point, you saw that he was just lining it up there to throw it down towards the lane instead, right? And so we end up in this position where, they basically just get in onto the site, right? And they're able to get this first kill on Otis. People start coming in onto the site, right? Xiao does manage to get one, but, they're out now, right? This is the difference, that they actually all managed to get out, and so they trade Xiao there. So some good stun utility there from Mako, and we actually get the spike down, and they clear the site in a 4v3, and this was kind of, what wasn't happening before for them. And so what's going to happen now is, we end up in this 3v4 retake, and Angel is coming on the big flank, as we can see. And they're going to have a pretty nice idea, FPX here, where they're going to send in this flash for Angel to swing off. Mako is able to turn it and then find the kill as well. So we end up in a 2v4. Zipan does manage to kill RB, but Mako is just going to, he obviously knows that Zipan is right here as he's firing at him. So what he decides to do is, okay, I'm going to take the fight to him. I'm going to swing out, swing on him, and get the kill. Now, it happens again, and Sagetsu does manage to kill him, but then Zest is here to, obviously knowing that Mako's in trouble, he comes here to go and trade out that kill whilst the Fate Horn is coming in as well. And DRX managed to win one of the best maps of Valorant that has been played, certainly in quite a while, reminiscent of some of the, the Fnatic mech game that was so good and all of that. Really just full of crazy plays and crazy moments, and it was a joy to watch.